Okay, I would like to open the Dutchess County LDC meeting. Jasmine, will you please take a vote for attendance?
Jim Dean,
Here.
Mark Doyle,
Here.
Kathy Bauer,
Here.
Amy Bonadiri,
Here.
Deidre Houston,
Here.
Tom LeCount,
Here.
James McComb.
Okay, I would like to remind everybody about our conflict of interest disclosure policy. If anybody has a conflict they're aware of with any matter that's coming before us on the agenda, could you please let us know? Okay, hearing none. What I would like to do is, I'm sorry, proof of meeting notice is posted.
Yes.
Are there any bills and communications? Okay, we have minutes from April 9th. Does anybody have any changes, objections, corrections?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thank you. Could I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Okay, report from the treasurer. Jane? Oh, I'm sorry, what did I miss?
Approve the
Oh,
minutes.
I apologize. We need to take the vote to approve the minutes. I'm slipping. Go ahead, Jasmine.
Mark Doyle,
Approved.
Kathy Bauer,
Approve.
Amy Bonadiri,
Approve.
Deidre Houston,
Approve.
Tom LeCount, James McComb,
Approved.
Jim Dean.
Approved. Okay, report from treasurer. Jane, would you like to do that?
Yes. Looking at the balance sheet for the local development corp, we have 2.5 million in cash. Down below, we have a receivables of 88,900, which is 87,000 is the request for the county reimbursement. Looking at the accounts payable, we have 29,100, and that's payroll accrual. Looking at the P&L, we have 154,000 in income, and included in that is that county reimbursement to a budget of 956,000. We're unfavorable right now by 802,000. We have expenses of 438,000 to a budgeted of 1,393,000. So far, we're favorable by 956,000. We're at a net loss of 284,000 to a budgeted net loss of 438,000. So far, we're favorable by 153,000. As of now, expenses are on target, and we're just, again, admin fees. And then, so I will say, I take that the county also, the budget is 450, which is budgeted there, but it was brought down to 250. So we'll always have that variance.
Okay. Did everybody understand that? Does anybody have any questions?
Was the budget approved, our budget approved prior to Dutchess County changing? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, any questions for Jane on the budget? Okay, hearing none, we're going to move on. We'll get back to the agenda. Okay, there's no report from committees at this time. There is no unfinished business. So now I would like to move to the first item on our agenda, which is for the preliminary inducement resolution for the issuance of an LDC tax exempt bond for the Culinary Institute of America in the amount of approximately 19 million. This bond will be used to refund previously issued DASNY bonds, that's Dormitory Authority, that were used to finance the renovation of the Student Center and general landscaping on campus. A refunding is considered a retention project, and there is no new construction related to this transaction. I believe we have Maria Kruppen, Vice President of Finance. Is Maria?
No,
Maria Cullinan and Paul Reichel.
I'm sorry.
yes.
We have a couple of other folks that are here from the culinary with us remotely. Perhaps you could introduce yourselves?
That's correct. Yes, I'm Paul Reichel. I'm an attorney with Bond, Shenick and King, the Culinary Institute's legal counsel.
And I'm Tom Cullinan from Excelsior Capital, with their financial advisors to the Culinary Institute.
Okay. So, gentlemen, did you want to make any initial comments to us about this matter?
Just to confirm that this is merely a refinancing of some outstanding dormitory authority bonds issued in 2013 to achieve interest cost savings for the Institute. There's no new construction.
Okay. So it's a fairly straightforward matter as it applies to us. Does anybody have any questions for the folks up here from the culinary? John?
I have a
I don't
question.
have a question. I do have a statement for after you're done. with
Okay.
Questions.
Question?
On the project evaluation sheet, I'm assuming it's for this project, right?
Yes.
On the project is consistent with the agency's mission, it mentions Marist University. Is it a partnership with Marist University?
No, that's a separate, Marist University is a different bond.
Oh, am I looking at the wrong project evaluation?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Okay, yeah, we received previously the project evaluation worksheet on this project.
Okay.
Okay, Ron?
Just a bit of history for the board, since we do have some new members. There's a few ways in which institutions like the Culinary and other not-for-profits can finance. They have largely been able to go out to market, use the dormitory authority or our local development corporation. And within the last 10 years, we worked very hard to get all the not-for-profits, particularly the hospitals and the educational institutions, to utilize the LDC because the fee revenue comes back directly into our community to support economic development and tourism. So we're grateful to the Culinary and to the others who use the LDC as a mechanism for their financing. The other alternative is obviously the dormitory authority. So.
Okay, I just want to be a point of clarification. There is a project evaluation worksheet in this packet
Yes, I thought.
for the CIA.
Right.
And where does it mention Marist University?
The project,
On the backside, turn it over, project is consistent with agency's mission.
that paragraph.
Yes.
It mentions Marist.
There's a typo.
It could be a typo.
That must be a typo.
Okay, I was looking for
Thank you for
clarification.
pointing that out,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that is,
Yeah, this is unrelated to the Marist University.
Yeah,
yes,
that's what
okay,
we thought.
We have a Marist University bond issue.
correct.
Right.
But this is not it.
Yeah, this is not it.
And so whoever prepares this document
Yes.
is using it as the Marist as a sample and missed that particular one. That's
Yes.
Just in that same line, though, are the benefits applicable to this project? It's hard to know.
They are, because I'm looking at this sheet and they are coordinating.
Oh, right, is it?
Yeah.
Deirdre, I appreciate your pointing that out, and I apologize for initially thinking that was inaccurate.
Right, I just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
I didn't know if it was a partnership with Marist. and-
No, that's, well, and I appreciate, it shows that you look carefully. And because this is the preliminary meeting, this is when we would get the application, so it's important that we understand that. Okay, is there any other questions or observations that need to be discussed?
Chairman, it's just a $900,000 savings over the remaining 18 years, correct?
Yes, at this point.
Are there any plans to use that 900,000 or just use it for cash flow purposes?
Just cash flow, yep. Tom?
Yeah, there's no direct plans. It'll
Okay.
come back. It'll come back to the institute, and be retained on their balance sheet and used going forward. And the savings are, the savings are reasonable. I would add that just for your information, that recently the Culinary Institute was upgraded. Their bond rating was taken from a Baa2 by Moody's to a Baa1, something that they've earned over the last few years by stint of their strength of operations. So we're expecting a good market reception when we get to market, probably expected sometime in June. And this, it's a pretty efficient refunding and currently works. And so we're proceeding apace to try to get the transaction done in June and closed in July.
So, and again, just for some of the newer members, these are the type of applications, they are sensitive to the market. So the culinary will not know that these savings are actually real until they go into the market. But in order to do that, they have to have our blessing to do so. So, hopefully the savings will be there when they go to the market. So that's always a caveat. About them actually completing the transaction is if the market does have an interest rate that makes it worth it.
But we will have to have a final meeting on this.
Yes. Again, the culinary has asked us if we get through the preliminary motion and the public hearing, they've asked for the potential to move up or have a special meeting in June to help them enter the market at the appropriate time. So we can discuss that if we approve this preliminary resolution. We will reach out to folks if it's necessary and see if we can accommodate that. Are there any other questions? Would somebody be willing to make a motion to approve the preliminary resolution as presented with the correction of the culinary for Marist University in the application?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Kathy.
Second.
Thank you, Jamie, for the second. Okay, Jasmine, will you please take a vote?
Mark Doyle,
Approved.
Kathy Bauer,
Approved.
Amy Bondieri,
Approved.
Deidre Houston, Al McCount,
Approved.
Jane Piconi.
Approved.
Thank you.
Approved. Okay. Okay, the next item on the agenda is election of officer. I'm going to suggest that we table that until we have another discussion. As I don't know if we're prepared to discuss that appointment with a board member at this time. But it is something we will need to do for the new time period of board members in June. Appointment of additional member to audit and finance committee, the same thing. That is because of Kathy, leaving our board. We need to replace her. She has been the chair of the audit and finance committees as well as our secretary treasurer. So I'm gonna miss you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is for consideration approval of a resolution authorizing the chief financial officer, who is Jane Denbaum, to enter into an agreement with Sarah Lee for professional services. And so what we have discussed in prior meetings, but I just want to sort of refresh everybody's memory is Sarah Lee obviously left us. We have several projects that were brought before us during Sarah's time, so she has some intimate knowledge of them. We also have, obviously, we don't have a new president and executive director at this time. So and we have, the county has a study which they just recently received, which is looking at the overall structure of the county's economic development efforts. We used to have an economic development agency. We don't. We had, an executive director here at the IDA and LDC who also served as the executive director of Think Dutchess. And so that position is vacant. But the county initiated a study from a consultant to try and advise the county on how best to move forward with the overall structure of economic development efforts in the county. That report was literally just issued the other day. But while we're waiting for that, Ron did not want to suggest that we move forward with an executive director of our organization until we understand what that job description may look like in the future. So what has been suggested is, and Sarah has expressed a willingness to serve us on an interim basis to help us get through the projects that she managed for us prior to her leaving. So to get those through, and also to provide some advisory services on some of the responsibilities that she held prior to leaving, to provide those to us on a temporary basis until we're able to find a replacement So, Ron, I'm just going to ask you really quickly to identify the cost of that, to the group and the terms, the general terms of the agreement.
And just for point of clarification, that organizational analysis, which began in December, just wanted to make sure that we have the highest and best use of the dollars the county's providing, and that the structure that we put in place is as efficient as it possibly can be. So what became clear yesterday was the direction that we are likely going in, but the report has not been finalized yet. So we expect that within the next 30 days. This agreement between the LDC and Jane and Sarah Lee as a consultant is for $5,000 a month. It is basically the bulk of the duties of the executive director of the IDA and the president and CEO or CEO of the LDC. And with the exception of intake on new applications. So that'll occur for 60 days at a fee of $5,000 a month, which is very generous to us. And then beyond that, if necessary, at an hourly rate of $250. And we don't know that we'll have to take that far at all. But the reason why the agreement is set to expire next March or can be terminated at any time is because that's when Paris is due again. So there may be questions between now and then that come up. And I do believe that it's appropriate that if we take Sarah's time, even if it's an hour, if she wishes, she can be compensated for it. So we don't expect it to have a budgetary impact. And it cannot exceed $19,000 in total for the period.
And I do want to mention that even without this approval, Sarah has been assisting us under the assumption that we would, do something like this. So again, the idea is for these first couple of intense months of effort, $5,000 a month, and then after that, it just moves to $250 an hour, hours we request, and there's no commitment by either party that it can be canceled by either party. So does anybody have any questions about that? Okay, so what we have to do is just authorize Jane to enter into that contract with Sarah. Would somebody be willing to make that motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay, would somebody be willing to second?
I'll second it.
Okay, any other discussion?
The record, can I just know who made the motion?
I made the motion.
Mark did?
And Tom.
Mark did, and seconded by Tom.
Okay, Jasmine, would you be willing to make a motion, or to take a vote on the motion? Sorry. Right.
Mark Doyle?
Approved.
Kathy Bauer?
Approved.
Amy Bondieri?
Approved.
Deidre Houston? Approved. Tom LaCount?
Approved.
James McCone?
Approved.
Jim Dean?
Approved. Okay, the next thing on the agenda is first quarter county reimbursement request. Jane, did you want to handle that, or?
I wasn't planning on it, but
So I guess I can kick it off then. What we have before us is the payment request, obviously, for the county. The amount is $82,707.82, and this is an amount that we bill to Dutchess County based on our efforts. Is that correct, Jane?
correct. It involves staff, any expenses to any vendors that we would use in order to obtain our outcomes. And I believe the outcomes is the second page.
Yes. So we have it in our packet here. And again, this is something that we have an agreement with the county for these things. This is just the formal, our authorizing the request for the actual reimbursement, based on the details on this payment request. Does anybody have any questions about this? Okay, would somebody be willing to make a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Amy. Would somebody be willing to second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, Jasmine, would you please take a vote?
Mark Doyle?
Approved.
Kathy Bauer?
Approved.
Amy Bondieri?
Approved.
Deidre Houston? Approved. Tom LaCount? James McCone?
Approved.
Jim Dean?
Okay, I think that's all of the matters in the LDC.
Do you wish to speak about the CIA special meeting for the first week in June.
We will, I'm going to discuss that after we discuss some other matters.
Oh, okay.
Okay, overall, but yes, but if not, and if we don't discuss it today, we will reach out in short order to board members about it.
That's fine.
Okay, all right, is there anything else that anybody has for the LDC? Okay, so I'm going to adjourn the LDC meeting